Hi, I'm Alex Wilkins from the Spice House, and welcome to the Trotter Project Kitchen Sessions, a series created to teach you new skills and knowledge while raising funds for our community. While you learn from the safety of your home, your suggested donation will be hard at work helping those in our community. The Trotter Project COVID-19 Relief Fund directly supports those in our community's most underserved areas, with concentrated donations to schools, students, their families, and food banks. You can visit www.thetrotterproject.org to donate now. Any donation you make will directly impact the lives of young people and their families who rely on their local programs to survive. I'm in charge of sourcing at the Spice House. We've been in business for over 60 years, bringing in spices from all over the globe and supplying them to home cooks, Michelin-starred chefs, and everybody in between. They come to us from places like Madagascar, Portugal, believe it or not, even the driftless region of Wisconsin brings us some spices. Now when it comes to spices, flavor is key, so today we're going to talk about three of our favorites: cinnamon, pepper, and vanilla. Cinnamon comes from many different countries around the world. We can break them down into two main categories. We have botanical true cinnamon and we have cassia cinnamon. So let's talk about the differences. True cinnamon comes from Sri Lanka. It's the inner bark of the cinnamon tree. It's thin layers, and when you stack those thin layers one on top of the other, roll them up, and then cut them to size, you get these beautiful cinnamon quills. You'll see this cinnamon from Sri Lanka branded on the market as Ceylon cinnamon. Don't be confused. Ceylon is just an historical brand designation. Think of Ceylon tea. Ceylon cinnamon is light, it's citrusy. The quills are nice and papery, and the aroma is very floral. It's a beautiful cinnamon. This is also known as Mexican cinnamon, not because it grows in Mexico, but it's traditional to Mexican cooking. It's wonderful if you're making horchata, rice puddings. If you have an extra cinnamon stick lying around, pop it in your favorite bottle of vodka. You won't regret it. Now let's talk about cassia. Most of the world's cassia cinnamon comes from Indonesia. We've all seen these over the holidays, these nice woody cinnamon sticks that we're all so familiar with. Indonesian cassia has a little stronger flavor profile. It's nice and woody. It's got some sweetness to it. It's got a little bit of heat. The volatile oil content comes in at about 2 to 3%, whereas we remember our Ceylon cinnamon only had a volatile oil of 1%. So it starts here, it gets much stronger as we go into the cassias. Now, if you're serious about baking, Saigon cinnamon is what you need. Vietnamese cassia is the strongest cinnamon in the world. It comes from a big tree, it has big flavor. It's been described as life-changing by some of our customers. Saigon cinnamon is going to be nice and sweet. It'll be almost like it has sugar in it, and the heat that it finishes with is just incredible. If you haven't used Saigon cinnamon in your kitchen before, bake some cinnamon rolls. You'll immediately notice the difference, and you might find that you actually need to back off a little bit on the recipe. It doesn't matter what level of home cook you are, every kitchen should have a pepper mill and some high quality peppercorns. There's really no substitute of grinding pepper as you need it, either at the table or right before you serve a dish. If the Olive Garden can do it, you can too. Most of the world's pepper is going to be from Vietnam. It's cheap, it's plentiful, it's everywhere. But we talk about flavor at the Spice House, and what we think of as the best flavor and what's commonly referred to as the best tasting peppercorn in the world, in all of history, is that peppercorn that comes from the Malabar coast in India, the Tellicherry peppercorn. This is the one that we use in all of our rubs, in all of our blends. We make sure to grind it fresh right before it gets mixed into our recipes. Now, if you're looking for something a little special, then we definitely can't get enough of this Kampot pepper from Cambodia. Kampot peppercorns are grown organically. They have what's called an appellation of origin. Think Parma ham, Champagne. Essentially what that means is we can't call these Kampot peppercorns unless they're grown in Kampot. So we have two varieties that we've been tasting lately, and we're just crazy about them. Kampot black peppercorns, nice, big round peppercorns, crunchy, bold, great flavor. If you leave pepper berries on the vine until the berries become completely red and then dry them in the sun and hand select them, we get these absolutely gorgeous dark red berries from Camp Pot. When you open the bag and smell them, you can smell those dried red fruits, strawberries, cranberries. They'll have a little more mild pepper heat, and they're just wonderful if you crack them on maybe some vanilla ice cream or even fresh fruit. In the spice world, there's nothing more incredible than high quality vanilla beans. Orchid flowers bloom on the vine. They have to be hand pollinated immediately as they bloom. The beans grow, they spend 9 months growing. Once they're harvested, there's another process that takes 6 months to cure the vanilla beans. It's really a long, intense process. It takes a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge to make a high-quality cured vanilla bean. The best vanilla beans in the world, and most of the vanilla beans in the world, come from just a small number of countries. Madagascar grows most of the world's vanilla. This is our classic vanilla flavor when we talk about Madagascar beans. When you choose vanilla beans, look for beans that are flexible. They should be a little bit shiny. They should look a little bit oily. They should be a little bit sticky in your hands, and they should be fragrant. If your beans are dry, that doesn't mean you have to throw them out. Grind them up with a little bit of sugar to make vanilla sugar. You can put them in some hot sugar water and make some simple syrup. You can put them dried pieces in a bottle of spirits, let it hang out for a while to give it a different character. Vanilla is also extremely expensive, and one of the cool things about these Madagascar beans is every once in a while you'll see that some of them have been branded. The farmers brand vanilla beans just like maybe farmers would brand cattle on a ranch to protect their identity, their brand identity, and to deter thieves. Similar beans come from the birthplace of vanilla, Mexico. We can see that these beans are a little bit larger, but they have that same deep, dark, raisiny aroma, and these two are really interchangeable when you're using vanilla at home. It's just nice to have options in the spice world. Now, if you want to get outside the box a little bit and you're making something that doesn't have other heavy competing flavors like whipped cream or creme anglaise, try some Tahitian beans, either Tahiti or Papua New Guinea. You can see that these beans are much more plump, they're juicy, they're just nice, big, fat, delightful creatures. If you haven't had the pleasure of taking a real vanilla bean home, splitting it down the middle and scraping those seeds out, don't wait any longer. It's something not to be missed in the kitchen. Once again, this is Alex Wilkins from the Spice House. Thank you for watching. You can visit our website, spicehouse.com, to find more spice wisdom and over 400 spices. Please consider donating to the Trotter Project's COVID-19 Relief Fund. Your contribution makes a big difference.